Hey guys, Chester Westford here. If you've never been to my channel, welcome. I'm kind of a geek who covers and reviews lots of some pop culture shows and movies like Doctor Who, sometimes Marvel, Star Wars, some things in the horror genre such as the Universal Monsters, and also sometimes DC, as this review will relate to. Specifically, as you saw in the title, I got to see Black Adam last night, and I'm here to give my review. As usual with my film reviews, spoiler-free will come first, and then I'll dive a little bit into spoiler territory after that. I'll let you know when that division comes, so you can turn off if you haven't seen the movie yet. General spoiler-free sentiment is that this is a fun, exciting DC action film. Set action is well done, the effects are spectacular, the costumes are spectacular, the direction and editing keeps it going at an exciting pace. The actors all do a really good job in their roles. I loved seeing the JSA on screen in live action. Most of these characters, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any of these characters have been seen on the big screen before, unless there's something I'm forgetting. I know we've had some of them in the CW shows, like Smallville and the Arrowverse, but I think this is the first time we've had them in a theatrical film, like with Dr. Fate and Hawkman and all that. But yeah, it was great to have them introduced in the DCEU. Aldis Hodge was a terrific Hawkman. Noah Centineo was also very good in the role of Adam Smasher and provided some good comic relief in a couple parts. The two standouts for me, however, were Quintessa Swindell as Cyclone. She was absolutely perfect in the role, and also just excellent casting, Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. The only unfortunate thing about these characters is I wish we'd gotten a little more of them, gotten to know them a little better, In some way, they felt like supporting characters to Black Adam, which, I know they are, of course, kind of, but I just wanted a little more on them, more emotional depth, more background. But hopefully we'll get those in future movies. I hope we see a lot more of them in the future. One role I was a bit worried about was the title role. Because he's such a big star, I wondered, was I going to see Black Adam or Dwayne Johnson? Sometimes when you have a movie star as big as he is, you start to just see the actor and not the character so much. But for the most part, I don't think that's the way it was. I think it worked. While you never quite forget it's Dwayne Johnson, I think he did a pretty good job overall becoming the role. And yeah, it fit him so well that nothing felt out of place, and I thought he did a really good job with it. Other than them, we have some other major players like Sarah Shahi as Adriana Tomez, Mohammed Amir as Kareem, her brother, and how do you say this name? Bodhi Sembangui. Hopefully I didn't butcher that, as Aman, her son, and also Marwan Kanzari as Ishmael. They all did a good job. I don't have a problem with any of the actors in this film. I think they all did great with what they were given. I do have a few issues with the script. As I say, the action is very well done. There are a lot of great action scenes, some fantastic stuff, particularly with Dr. Fate and Cyclone showing off their powers. However, beyond the action, I have to admit there isn't much actual depth in the script. I do kind of wish that it had been slowed down here and there, and maybe we could have gotten to know the characters better. There are a few character moments later on, one in particular I can think of with the son, Aman, that seemed like they were meant to be emotional big moments, but it just didn't feel like it because they weren't built up to properly. Also, some of the dialogue was a bit clunky. There was some narration that didn't quite work. There are a few things that worked, though. Black Adam's backstory, I feel like, was done well. The relationship between Dr. Fate and Hawkman, while I would love to delve more into that in the future, was very interesting, which is why I would like to delve into it more. Overall, I think if you go into this film not expecting it to be full of depth and expecting just a fun popcorn-munching superhero action film starring The Rock, you will have a good time. I did enjoy watching it. I'm not going to say it's one of the greatest films of all time, or even one of the best DC films so far. But of what they've given us lately, yeah, this is one of the better ones. And it's better than some of the stuff Marvel has been putting out lately. And yeah, overall, I would recommend seeing this. It looks fantastic, and it's very well done for the type of movie that it is. Now, there are a couple of things I want to discuss here, and this is where I'm going to dive a little bit into spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen the movie and don't want to be spoiled, I recommend turning off this video now and coming back after you've seen the movie. First off, One thing I was very glad the movie did was very much establish itself in the DCEU's past continuity. Not just with the post-credits Superman scene, more on that later, but with Amanda Waller, Jennifer Harcourt, references to other superheroes. But the one thing I was most glad to see, as far as DCEU continuity goes, was the inclusion of Djimon Hounsou reprising his role as the wizard Shazam, who of course first made his appearance in the movie Shazam, as the wizard who gave Billy his powers, and is also on the Council of Wizards here, as he should be, who grants Teeth Adam his powers. I was a bit worried they were going to gloss over some of that, like maybe wanting to distance themselves from the more humorous Shazam movie in order to keep it darker and grittier, but they did a really good job of finding a way to incorporate all that lore and not make it feel too silly or ridiculous, even going so far as using the word Shazam multiple times in the movie, as it should be, and not just mentioning it, but having it as an important plot point in multiple places. I knew there was a rumor going around I heard before the film came out where people were saying, oh, it's not going to reference Shazam at all, and how that was a very bad thing DC was doing. It's just so popular to hate on DC these days. I don't like that. I'm a DC fan. I kind of grew up with DC over Marvel, so I really want to see DC succeed, but never mind about that right now. Yeah, I'm just glad that that one rumor wasn't true in the slightest. I mean, no, Zachary Levi wasn't in it, but, it doesn't need to be, and they still went out of their way to say, yes, this does take place in the same universe as that Shazam movie. And it fits in with the continuity and what was said in the Shazam movie about Black Adam. Yeah, I think that really goes to show what love for the character Johnson and the rest of the team do have for this character and the DC universe as a whole, and it makes me even more excited for what's to come. And speaking of what is to come, I just want to end on that post-credits scene. After what was, as we have heard, a apparently long battle behind the scenes, Henry Cavill is for real back as Superman. I know some people were upset about the John Williams score and the red and blue suit. To me, those things just make sense, and they don't matter anyway. I'm more interested in what they do with the character than what theme is played. People get caught up in the small details sometimes rather than just being happy about the bigger picture. Not that I'm trying to criticize, but I do plan to do a video soon about the future of the DCEU, and some of that will be why I don't think things like that matter for the future or the past, and what I think and hope will be the future of the DC on big screen as far as the Snyderverse goes and stuff. But for now, I'll just say I'm very happy to see Henry Cavill back. I think he's a great Superman, and I look forward to seeing what they do with him in the future. And of course, I'm looking forward to that Black Adam Superman movie, which will come eventually. But I'm possibly even more so looking forward to when Black Adam finally crosses over with Shazam. I think there's a lot of potential there for a great story, and for some humor, with the more serious and humorous tones of the respective characters clashing in what could be some fun ways. What I really want to see and hope happens is not just a Superman Black Adam movie and not just a Shazam Black Adam movie, but a Superman and Shazam team up with Black Adam or against Black Adam. Like maybe Superman tries to fight Black Adam but realizes he needs a bit of magic to fight magic, so is forced to bring in Shazam as backup. Maybe somewhat reluctantly, since I think Superman would be reluctant to, essentially he might consider it bringing a child into danger. Even though Billy becomes an adult, he's, still really young, so I could see that being a plot point, possibly. But anyways, that's what I hope for. I also, of course, hope we will see more of the JSA. I know they apparently technically killed off Dr. Fate, but, they could easily bring him back. I mean, he disappears, and Hawkman does say that thing at the end about, see you around, old friend, indicating their time together may not be completely done. That might be something for the future. Whatever's the case, I want to see more of all the JSA. I want to see more of Cyclone, more of Atom Smasher, whether that be in their own solo movies or as a JSA movie. Maybe getting more screen time so we can actually get to know them better. But yeah, what did you guys think? Did you see the movie? Also, what would you like to see in the future, or what do you think is going to happen in the future? Let me know in the comments down below, and subscribe for more DC, Doctor Who, and other pop culture content. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.